About their prime minister. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Of course, you can talk about anything. That's what I love about this.
I really think that he knows if, God forbid, he steps down or the war is over, he's in jail.
I mean, that's possible, and we hear that a lot. I mean, it's
I
interesting.
believe it to my core.
Yeah, well, you don't know what's, I mean, that could be the case. You don't know what's in a person's heart. Whether that's true or not, you can still be supportive of the decisions he's making, which I am.
Okay.
It's very naive, I think, that this could go any other way.
Right.
And any other country in the world would not be expected to act any differently. If you get attacked, you get to fight back. And the war doesn't end when you start fighting back, which they always want with Israel. You know,
Bill Maher presenting himself as a guy who's like anti all religion, only to actively commit himself to a fucking theocratic ethno state is the funniest thing. Okay, this guy is supposed to be like, the atheist. I hate all religion. I hate all religion. Okay, I'm Bill Maher. Religion is stupid, and if you believe it, you're stupid. Except I love the theocratic ethno state that is an apartheid on a good day and doing genocide on a bad day because they're doing it to other religious people that I hate a lot more. I'm Bill Maher. It's so funny.
somebody,
You know what? A lot of what you're saying is true. However,
All of it.
I think that, there are parents, there are families that are hurting because the hostages are not.
Yes, and it's the
primary.
job of a statesman and a leader and a prime minister to think long term and not just short term. Like if they don't,
Yeah, that's what Benjamin Netanyahu's doing. He's thinking long-term final solution, not short-term final solution. Thanks, Bill Maher. Yeah. He definitely calls himself culturally Christian. Yeah, he is so... His dick riding of Israel is crazy, okay? It is crazy.
eliminate Hamas,
They're
then
not going to eliminate Hamas. Hamas is an idea, not a group of people.
that's a bullshit thing.
It's not
What do you mean? That's literally... He's right. Listen to the Fonz, dipshit.
bullshit.
Well, let me tell you something. They've said that for years. I just read, I think, Sam Harris on this, and he said it right.
I know Sam.
Okay, great.
I like
love
Sam.
Sam. Great. I'm
Yeah.
glad we both do.
Yeah.
And he said this thing we've heard a lot of times. You can't kill an idea. He said, well, we did after World War II.
Until now.
We did kill a lot of.
What's really funny about Bill Maher, as far as I understand, is that like, and I didn't know this until later, okay? I never knew this about him, but I guess neither did he, ironically enough. Bill Maher's not Jewish. I never thought he was Jewish. I thought he was a Christian. I thought he was an Irish guy, okay? And then I found out that he was Jewish, but also that he didn't know he was Jewish either, for the record. He was raised Catholic until the age of 12 when he found out he was Jewish. He's raised Catholic. So like I always was like this motherfucker this was my proof. Like fucking Christian Zionists are so goddamn annoying. They just like hype up Israel way more than like American Jews do. Like they always fucking outflank. They always outflank American Jews on the issue. It's like a white guy telling a black person about fucking racism. You know what I mean? And yes, you can tell he was raised Catholic. Yes, he has a lot of like, I think, former Catholic attitudes, if that makes sense. Like he has, I don't know, well, alcoholism to be one. He is so genteel. Like his vibes, his attitude, like it is so, like I was shocked when I found out. Okay? So he is a Zionist Christian, for the record, even though he's not a Christian.
Japanese, and that was unfortunate.
Right.
But I mean, if you do kill enough lunatics, and Japan was led by lunatics,
Right.
you know, died of the last person and a
Yeah.
lot of.
Wait. It's like, first of all, before people go, I thought he was Jewish, that's disrespectful, okay, to the Jewish people, specifically American Jews. If he was Jewish, he'd be a little bit funnier, okay? There's no way. I mean, this is like marginally at the very least, okay? Like this man's level of humor, counterpoint Seinfeld, great example, okay? Jerry Seinfeld, very unfunny, except still like understands the capacity or the word structure of a joke, okay? While Seinfeld is a humorless hack for the most part, he still fundamentally understands what a joke is. Bill Maher has never understood that. His entire career revolves around being a condescending, smarmy, pervy, alcoholic, Catholic, former Catholic, atheist asshole.
Suicide bombing and all that. Very similar to what we see with radical Muslims.
Right.
Suicide bombing, cult of martyrdom.
Right.
Okay, so Japan became our good friend. So let's not pretend that you can't actually get to the root of this. It is difficult.
I'm not pretending.
No.
I truly believe
No,
that in
you will
this
not-
particular case,
You will not.
you don't think that all those people that are now homeless and their families are destroyed, you don't think that they are now
I think you have to make
Hamas
calculation.
again?
Of course, absolutely. That is going to
And we
happen.
got to kill him dead even harder. Thank you, Bill. Like Winkler's attitude here is just like not even born out of ideology and is just pure empathy. Okay. You don't have to be like a brilliant person. Not saying that Winkler isn't, right? But like you literally don't have to be the smartest, most well-read person to look at a situation like this and just be like, I think common sense in this circumstance implies that like if you fucking lock people into this area and bomb the fuck out of them, they're probably going to develop resentment towards you and want to fight their way out of that situation. Basic, super basic empathy. If anything, it's common sense, but if anything, it's actually ideology that oftentimes clouds that basic empathy. Ideology, on the other hand, is what is motivating Bill Maher in his refusal to acknowledge the humanity of Palestinians. Like, you don't have to be a scholar to look at a situation and be like, yeah, I feel like if you trap people into this situation, if you like back them into a corner and keep fucking killing them and humiliating them and destroying their lives, like, and you show them that there's no way out of it, right? Like, they're probably going to inevitably fight back like you can at the top of the hour because there's a 3-minute ad break. And the way that you can get out of that corner is by subscribing for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Just common sense. He's an Islamophobic, racy, smarmy, disgusting POS. Yeah. He is also the quintessential, like, bi-coastal elitist, smarmy liberal. He is so fucking annoying. I just, My buddy who's not very political has a correct view on Israel-Palestine. However, going off the undercurrent of anti-Semitism, he thinks we can't criticize Israel's actions because of them being a Jewish state and the Holocaust. Tell him, as a Jew, I give him permission to criticize Israel for their actions. It is wild, though, because, like, he went from saying that, like, it is, if we're looking at this honestly, it is braver to, like, drive a fucking plane into the Twin Towers. He said this on national television. He said, right after 9/11, mind you, like at a time when it was probably the least appropriate thing to say. Like, I would not have said it. Okay. Come on. That's crazy. He said, you know what's not brave? Lobbing cruise missiles from thousands of miles away. That's not brave. You might not agree with it, but at least, but it is brave to ram a fucking plane into the Twin Towers. He said that. And that is what got him canceled. That actually got him canceled for a year. He came back stronger than ever. Okay. Also, there's a 3-minute ad break now, but he did say that.
And you were also
So
recruiting.
you want to kill every human being?
No. Is that what I said?
No, but I think it is what you were leading to.
No, it is certainly not what I'm leading to. What I'm saying
If we
is,
kill enough of them, we're going to end Hamas.
I didn't say that either.
I think you.
I like to think that this is also true. He only said that 9/11 shit because it was annoying. Like, he thought, I will get a lot of people mad at me, and I love being annoying. Bro, they were still picking body parts out of the rubble when he said that shit, okay? It is a wild. I'm surprised he wasn't assassinated immediately after that, okay? Like,
no, I didn't. You
Okay.
said it.
You want to play it back?
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
didn't say that.
I didn't say
I
that.
did not say if you kill enough of them, that the Hamas is
No,
over.
what I said was the idea that you can't kill an idea.
Oh, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what I was objecting to.
Right.
And I was quoting Sam talking
Right.
about the fact that
You
after
know, World War II, we
II,
did not kill Nazism.
yeah, we did.
We-
Except
Ha!
for
ha! Fucking owned, bitch. Shut up. Sit your bitch ass down. You just got schooled, okay? You got schooled. Winkler is 100% on the money. Shut your bitch ass up, okay? An adult is talking. A knowledgeable adult is talking. The GOAT, the Fonz, okay? The Fonz is talking. Bill Maher said, yeah, we killed Nazism. Oh, really? Really? We did? That's crazy. Because if I recall correctly, if I know my American history, we definitely didn't do that. We exported a bunch of them, okay? We took a bunch of the scientists and we're like, yo, you guys are doing some sick work, okay? We're going to need to use this against the Russians, inevitably. That's number one, Operation Paperclip. Number two, the Nazis, like the generals that were important members, like not even like the Hitler naysayers, okay? Like straight up all the way until the end, pro Adolf Hitler generals became figureheads of NATO, okay? We put them in charge of West Germany, and then we put them in charge of NATO. So no, not only did we not eradicate Nazism as an ideology, we literally were like, actually, this is a really fucking valuable tool that we can use against a much scarier problem, communism.
Like a moment. It's back almost in every country.
back in a tiny fringe.
No, it's not a tiny fringe, dumbass. The reason why he thinks this is because he also has a lot of Hitlerian attitudes. Okay? That's the problem. Like, he literally, first of all, we objectively did not denazify Germany. That's like not a thing that happened, right? But beyond that, if you were to look at like modern day fascism and act like it is not playing a prominent role in Western politics, you have to be at least somewhat sympathetic to the fascism, okay? Because if you're not, and I certainly am not, I look around and I'm like, holy fuck, Adolf Hitler is so back, okay? Like, Donald Trump is running around being like, migrants are pests. Migrants are actually bringing in like diseases. They're eating your fucking cats. They're raping your daughters. That's just Hitler. Like that's you're directly paraphrasing Hitler at that point, okay? Which Donald Trump, I think, accidentally arrived at that, or at least was like just copy pasting what Stephen Miller was telling him, because I don't think he knows how to read, let alone read enough Hitler speeches to come up with immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, which is not even a paraphrasing of Adolf Hitler, is just Adolf Hitler. When Donald Trump said, immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation, as an illiterate man who does not know how to read, I truly believe he either A, heard that from Stephen Miller, okay, and repeated it, or B, which is the funnier outcome, came up with it on his own. You know, when you come up with a good idea and you know, like, and then you find out that like it existed already and you're like, wow, parallel thinking. I think that might have happened here. It's funny because apparently Bill Maher himself, if you can't call Trump a fascist, I don't know what fascism is. Yo. Oh my God, he did this for January 6th. He was mad. He's such a he is literally the perfect lib. Okay? He is the perfect liberal, okay? The perfect liberal looks to like the anti-immigrant, anti-trans, like all these sentiments expressed towards marginalized communities and says, some of that is true. We need to listen to him, okay? But fucking January 6th is the bridge too far for him. It's like, dude, the anti-trans stuff and the anti-migrant stuff is also directly Adolf Hitler, okay? Like if it took...
I mean, if you expect perfection,
I don't expect perfection.
Well, then it's a silly argument.
I believe. Well, that's not true.
Well,
but I believe that we are going to experience another Kristallnacht, and could very well experience it here.
Well, there's a lot of anti-Semitism, and that comes from people like Hamas.
Yeah, I see.
So, I mean, again, when you...
Yeah, dude, Hamas is doing anti-Semitism in America. God, boomers are so stupid. Like, are you a German liberal? Like, what do you mean? A lot of anti-Semitism exists in American society and it's coming from Hamas. Dude, there are blood and soil fascist, Nazi, and neo-Nazi Trump supporters currently, when he was filming this, talking about how we have to purge the Haitians from Springfield, Ohio. And he's like, you know what's the likely outcome here? A Hamas insurrection that will inevitably end up, you know, causing a lot of anti-Semitic hatred. What are you saying? Like, it's not even, oh my God.
You think, when you're a leader, you have to think long term.
Right.
If you don't know, they've prosecuted this war for 11 months, as we're recording this in September
Right.
of 2024.
Like, bro, if there are literal neo-Nazi protests happening all around the country, okay? All around the country, all the time. And you got the president saying neo-Nazi shit, okay? And then you look to like they, them, non-binary, okay, septum piercing having English majors, who many of them are also Jewish, protesting against the Israeli apartheid at fucking college campuses, and you go, that's the real anti-Semitism? You are such a freak. Like, you are so far removed from objective reality that I don't even know how we can have a normal conversation. Okay? Like, turn on Twitter and look to what people are saying on there for 3.5 seconds, and you will realize that, oh boy, anti-Semitism is popping right now. And no, it is not coming from the progressive anti-Israel and anti-Zionist protesters, okay? That is crazy. He has had Netanyahu on his show so many times. How are you surprised about this? No, I know how much of a dick rider for Israel he is.
So
yeah, also all around the world, not even just like America, all around the fucking world. You got the AfD in Germany. You got literal fascists in Italy in power. You have Le Pen in France. You have the reform movement in the UK. Does this not even remotely tick the holy shit, this is fascism, it's happening box for you at all?
they're at the
You got
final
Modi. I forget Modi, of course.
stage. They're in the South. Yes, there are probably still, I don't know, 80, 90 hostages left.
Right, 100.
It's horrible to think of the situation they've been in, and if we can't get
So
them
in
out.
other words-
Again, if I could just finish.
Yes.
Yeah, Viktor Orban, Donald Trump's favorite. Viktor Orban, he loves me. Gert Wilders. Viktor Orban is crazy. The worst part of this process is like the supposed like historical counterbalance is also a fascist of a different flavor. Like, that's the other side of the story. It's like, it's not like Russia itself is like prosecuting a fucking liberatory struggle for the working class. Like, they're doing their own fucking imperial ambitions. They're engaging in their own irredentist actions as well. So like, there isn't even a fucking counterbalance to it. You look at Iran, okay, a regional actor, and Iran's own fucking principles, especially in its own domestic affairs, is also inherently fundamentalist and awful and autocratic. Like, there's nobody out there. There's just no one. There's no one. There's no one out there that's like, hey man, this shit is fucked up. There's no powerful force on the planet right now that is like, yo, a lot of this shit is fucked up. You say, please save me, Xi, but like, they're way too invested in their own thing, okay? They're not engaging in any kind of like actual anti-fascist or even anti-capitalist momentum either. Okay, what about NATO? Dog, what do you mean, what about NATO? What about NATO? America is the top dog in this business. Who do you think is like the number one bad guy on the planet? NATO. Well, that's why I'm voting for Joe Biden. Because he did NATO.
Let's go right ahead.
You have to think in terms of long-term and numbers. Like those 100 people, we wouldn't want anyone to die, but what if we let Hamas off the hook and then it gets worse and 10,000 die? That's how...
10,000.
Well, in the future. In other words, if they are able to stage...
Dude, this is awesome. Like, it's not even... This is awesome. He's just like saying, okay, what about, like, what if every Jewish person is ethnically cleansed? That's why Israel has to continue its genocide. Is an insane argument to make. It is also exactly the same argument Hitler made, okay, about the Jews. He's like, if we don't ethnically cleanse all the Jews, they're going to ethnically cleanse us. Is also the same insane shit that Hitler said, okay? Holy fuck. It's crazy. If you want Hamas to perish in prominence and in influence, okay, then you have to eliminate the apartheid. That's it. If the apartheid goes away, then there is no resistance to the apartheid. This is a reality that not only Henry Winkler, but also fucking Yoav Gallant and Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari and many other Israeli military generals also recognize, not the apartheid part, but at least that like Hamas is not a fucking, like, Hamas is not just a group of people that are like, I'm a card-carrying member of Hamas. Like, it is simply the idea born out of the principle that human beings do not want to be fucking subjugated to and humiliated and killed endlessly and ceaselessly. That's why they say you can't militarily find a solution to Hamas. That's why they say that. The only military solution to Hamas would be full-blown ethnic cleansing. That's it. Okay?
More attacks.
I see. 10,000 more Israelis.
You've gone this far for 11 months. And my question to people who have this argument is always, do you know what's going on really underneath Gaza in all the tunnels and how close they are?
I do not know.
I don't either. But you know who does know? The Israeli Defense Force. Now.
Oh, yeah. No, they're the position of authority. They know better. Of course, typical fucking liberal Democrat shit. Oh, Kamala Harris cannot possibly have bad instincts. They just know better. That's why they're moving in a certain direction. Liberals love thinking that they are intellectually superior to like MAGA people, right? And in some respects, like their empathy on a lot of issues, as long as the Democratic Party is not positioning themselves against said issues, is on the right side of history. Okay? But they have the exact same fundamental, almost Mormon style, like attitude towards positions of authority that like the fucking MAGA people have, which is, oh, well, they must know better. They must know better. They know, they're the adults. They know better. I trust them. Israel has bombed the children's playground in Gaza, then took a photo of a Seward cesspit to claim it's a Hamas tunnel. Look at this photo and compare it to the photos in the post below. They are the same thing. They're admitting to literal heinous war crimes. Yeah. Many Gazan families living in areas that lack infrastructure resort to digging wells several meters deep into the ground to drain wastewater, an old method that was widespread throughout the Gaza Strip in the past. It's a well. Wasn't Bill Maher like anti-Iraq war? Am I crazy? Am I misremembering that? Maybe.
Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But again, they're not the ones purposely killing civilians. They try not to kill civilians. If you can't understand
Get the fuck out of here, dude. You're a fucking idiot.
that difference morally, then you're very morally confused.
Are you watching the same footage I'm watching?
You think they are trying to kill civilians?
I think that it is indiscriminate.
That's what war is.
Okay.
War becomes that. There is no war you can name that didn't. Sherman burned Atlanta to the ground, and it wasn't just the military people he was killing. It's a shame, but again, there's a very simple solution to this. Stop attacking Israel.
Right.
Jews used to know this.
Right. Okay.
Still love you.
I love you.
Okay.
I have
I'm
no
glad we can
judgment
talk.
about your point of view.
Great, and I not of yours.
I disagree a little bit with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't think that the head of Israel at this moment is a soulful human being.
That may be true too. I didn't say he wasn't, and I didn't say even that he might not be doing what you suggested he might be doing. What I was saying is, even if those things are true, it could also be true that this is the correct policy, which I believe it is. I think you've gone 11 months to do this. Let's finish it while we're there.
Okay, how does it finish? Tell me that.
How does it finish?
Yes.
Is there a...
What do you
see? Is that you have extirpated enough of Hamas that some other...
By the way, when I was gone, I heard Winkler say something fucking amazing, and I kind of want to go back to it where he goes, are you seeing the same things that I'm seeing?
Great, and I not of yours. It wasn't just no
scrimmage I'm watching.
Then you're very morally confused.
I have
Are
to.
you watching the same footage I'm watching?
He's like, it's like, there's nothing else you can say. It's like, are you insane? Like, are you mentally there? Because this is one of the most shocking things. At this point, you have to be deliberately avoiding the truth. You know what I mean? Like, or you just enjoy it. Like, you see the carnage and you enjoy it and you justify it in your mind. Because, like, someone like Bill Maher, I don't think he has not seen what is going on. You know what I mean? Like, I could say that about like some guy who's like, who's the president? I don't know. You know, there's plenty of guys like that out there, right? The undecided voters, the median voter who's like, who's this Trump guy? Tell me more about him. They watch the Aiden Ross stream and go, what's up with this Trump guy? Who is he again? Okay. Maybe there's a guy like that out there. And that guy probably hasn't seen anything. Okay. Like, totally different planet that they're existing on. They do not see a single damn thing. And even if they saw it, they wouldn't understand it. Okay. Bill Maher is not like that guy. He's tapped in. He has producers. He has a show talking about, you know, popular culture. There are things on this planet that are worse than what Israel's doing to the Palestinians, okay? But I don't think any of those instances are as like entitled and as arrogant and as in your face, if that makes sense. No, there are, come on guys, there are horrifying atrocities that occur all around the planet, right? It's just that it's never like this prominently featured and has this level of like protection from the people with the most power. Like Sudan comes to mind, you know what I mean? Rohingya, right? Like there are definitely like higher numbers of people being slaughtered even, right? The difference, however, is that no one looks at that and goes like, oh no, that's actually super cool. We love that shit. Does that make sense? That's what I mean. It's not only being conducted with like our direct involvement in terms of weapons, in terms of our targeting systems, right? In terms of our tax dollars directly subsidizing it, but also like Saudi Arabia and the UAE did a genocide in Yemen, right? Throughout, it started under the Obama administration and absolutely accelerated to its worst degree under the Trump administration. It was the United States backed it. It was our weapons. It was our targeting systems. We did that shit, right? But like, there wasn't this level of like bipartisan consensus on like the continuation of the genocide in Saudi Arabia. Like people would be like, Saudi Arabia is conducting a genocide in Yemen. And people will go, yeah, that's fucked up. Like Bill Maher, I don't think at that point would be like, well, actually, the Ansar Allah administration deserve it because our brave, bold Saudi allies are doing the right thing. Like, it wasn't, like, he would never do that for Saudi Arabia. He'd probably be really conflicted because they're Muslims on both sides. You know, I don't think he cares about this, the Shia-Sunni divide to that degree. So, like, he would never defend Saudi Arabia. Like, MBS at most could do like a charm offensive and go to the Atlantic and, you know, get positive coverage at Fox News. But he's not like speaking to the American Congress, right? And being like, you know, bow down to me, bitches. I have the oil. Which would make even a little bit more sense because at least like Saudi Arabia has a natural resource that is an absolute necessity for our, you know, continued global dominance. That even makes a little bit more sense if Saudi Arabia got to do that shit, but Israel wouldn't, because like Israel is not a state without the United States of America, but somehow we are still made servile in that moment to Benjamin Netanyahu's grace, you know? But ultimately, for him, or rather for me, the way I look at it is like, it's not only horrifying horrifying crimes against humanity that are happening every single day. Okay. But it's like not even like our association with it is so direct, even more direct than Saudi Arabia conducting a genocide in Yemen. Right? That's what it is. That's what's like so unique about this predicament. Like at the end of the day, there's this attitude where you're like, well, Saudi Arabia is already a fucking theocratic monarchy, right? Like most Americans don't have a positive opinion of Saudi Arabia. Whereas like most Americans did have a positive opinion of Israel, thought it was a Western democracy, thought it was like, you know, the most moral nation on the planet. So when they try to keep that image up while doing like horrifying things on a daily basis with like pure vitriol, and then you still have motherfuckers who are supposed to be these like adults, these like progressive people, just caping for that kind of death and destruction. It's like genuinely shocking.
You think they are trying to kill civilians?
I think that it is indiscriminate.
That's what war is.
Okay.
War becomes that. There is no war you can name that didn't. Sherman burned Atlanta to the ground.
Yeah, the problem is Israel is a belligerent occupier. There is never a war like this because this is not a war, it's a genocide, dumb fuck. What war do you have where the belligerent on one side literally has the exact zip code and phone number of every single person whose house they're bombing? Like, do you think Americans had that? Do you think Americans had like a way of communicating to the fucking Germans when they were doing Dresden? Like, hey, you need to leave your house, we're gonna bomb it. Like they knew every single place where like civilians were living. Do you think that that's what happened? No, because it wasn't. Because at most, although that was a war crime, which is why we literally changed the rules for the record after the fact, because they were like, that was not great. What we did there wasn't great. We should probably never do it again. Okay. Which is crazy that people like defend that shit too, which is wild. But like, what is extra crazy in this circumstance is that Israel is not the same as any other version of that, with the exception of the Holocaust. Like, that's it. These are people who are captive. They are held captive in an area that they cannot fucking leave voluntarily. And they're being relentlessly bombed. And the areas that they claim they're not going to bomb, they bomb anyway. And the areas they claim they're not going to bomb, it actually gets smaller and smaller. Oh, Julian Field, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. And even before like the areas got smaller and smaller, they knew exactly where people lived, and they were using AI to target people. And they had an alerting process where a person that this AI has declared a Hamas militant would come home, and they would purposefully kill him and his family when they got home. Okay? There is nothing that you can compare this to. Okay? There's nothing you can compare this to throughout history. There's nothing you can compare this to in modern day. There's nothing you can compare this to throughout history. The Saudi-Yemen conflict isn't really religio-sectarian. The Houthis are Zaidi Shia, which are very close to Sunnis, such that radical Salafists claim that they are Muslim. It's a different Shia sect than what is in Iran, which is Ithna Ash'ari, which radical Salafis view as the worst disbelievers on the planet, since they see them as destroying Islam from within, in their eyes worse than America and Israel law. I know, I wasn't saying that it was a religious conflict. I didn't consider that to be a religious conflict. I was just simply making a joke about Bill Maher not knowing, like, the different sects within Islam or caring about the differences.
ground. And it
Right.
wasn't just the military people
Right.
he was killing. It's a shame, but again, there's a very simple solution to this. Stop attacking Israel.
Right.
Jews used to know this.
Right. Okay.
Still love you.
I love you.
Okay.
I have
I'm
no
glad we can
judgment
talk.
about your point of view.
Great. And I not of yours.
I don't think he agrees with him at all. Judging by what he said in the first 6 minutes and 42 seconds of this conversation, I think it just seems like he's just trying to stop talking about this.
disagree.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That's cowardly from Henry. No, dog. He's like a 70-year-old Hollywood actor. Okay? He is practicing what I wish cops would on a regular basis, called de-escalation. Okay? He noticed at a certain point, I think, around here, when he said, "You must not be seeing the same things I'm seeing," that he was not talking to a man, but a brick wall. And he was like, well, there's not really anything else I can say to a fucking brick wall, a dude who is just psychopathic.
A little bit with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't think that the head of Israel at this moment is a soulful human being.
That may be true too. I didn't say he wasn't, and I didn't say
Right.
even that he might not be doing what you suggested he might be doing. What I was saying is, even if those things are true, it could also be true that this is the correct policy.
But Bill, of course, does not want to stop. Bill's like, no, let's dive back into it. What did he mean by Jews used to know this? I don't even know what aspect of Hasbara he's engaging in that situation.
Policy, which I believe it is.
Mhm.
I think you've gone 11 months to do this. Let's finish it while we're there.
Okay, how does it finish? Tell me that.
How does it finish?
Yes.
Is there a
What do you
is that
see?
you have extirpated enough of Hamas that some other entity can be brought in to
Damn. Hasan Nasrallah waiting room. Salafis don't say we are Muslims either, bro. I don't know where you're getting your info from. Your Zaidi. Yes, normal Salafis don't takfir us, but militant ones do because they even takfir Sunnis. Interesting. Hasan Nasrallah is Ithna Ashari, so I'm a little surprised. That being said, see the channel of Asim al-Hakim. He's the most prominent Salafi YouTube figurehead. He says that as long as you don't believe in infallible imams, Shia still count as Muslim. It totally is just exclusionary towards Ithna Asharis. Y'all are fucking nerds, dude. I don't even care about the intricacies this much. I don't think most normal Muslims care about the intricacies of this type of shit. What the fuck? Like I've literally never in my life met a Muslim and just been like, "Oh, are you Shia? What sect of Shia Islam do you believe?" I mean, you can kind of tell if someone is a fucking Salafist. Like you know, there's a vibe, and that's not really a conversation I'm having in any circumstance, regardless. But like beyond that, I don't think anybody fucking gives a shit. You know what I mean? This is normal. These people are losers. This is not normal. Okay. Normal Muslims don't know anything about Islam, though, is also true. But I mean, what normal religious person or not religious person, but still says they're Christian, knows everything about their fucking religion anyway?
to rule that country.
Right.
Because that was always a coiled snake
Right.
right at the foot of Israel.
Right.
You can't live like that.
Right.
Okay, there's only one side in this who wants a two-state solution. That would be at least part of Israel.
For us uneducated, what says what's going on in Gaza right now from the Holocaust? I mean, the only difference is that the numbers. That's it. Like the numbers. That's basically it. The scale of the atrocity. Because the mechanization of the slaughter is identical. like obviously Germans used concentration camps and like engaged in, like, it's still, I would say what Israel's doing is still industrial scale slaughter. So at that point, it's the difference between like trapping people into and moving them into a camp and killing them inside of the camp versus trapping them in smaller and smaller areas as you like slowly but surely destroy everything around them. It gives a little bit more, it gives an air of like plausible deniability almost in an effort to continue doing it. One, we don't know the true death rate. Two, the Holocaust didn't occur in 7 months. Still, do you think the intent is to exterminate the Palestinian people? Exterminate in the sense of like, do you mean like killing every single Palestinian there? No, I think the intent is to make it as unlivable as possible, with potentially, if lucky, a small Bantustan in Gaza that resembles the West Bank inevitably, with a lot of the Palestinians being forcibly moved to the Sinai Desert, like forcible expulsion and displacement. Yeah, industrial murder as a tool of ethnic cleansing. Yes, it would still be ethnic cleansing, but if you're asking about like, which is still genocide, by the way, but if you're asking about like the distinction of like, are they trying to kill every single Palestinian right now? The answer is no, they're not. They objectively are not killing every single Palestinian right now. What they're trying to do is make it as uninhabitable as possible, with the sole purpose of like moving as many of them as possible when it all is said and done to a different area outside of the Gaza Strip, and then maintain a permanent military occupation in parts that they've destroyed, only to rebuild it and resettle it with Jewish people. The end goal is still absolutely to render the idea of a Palestinian state impossible, which they've already successfully done in the West Bank, at least the way that it looks like right now. And I think that they want to do that in Gaza as well, with the ultimate goal of just like expelling as many Palestinians as possible from the area. They don't want to ruin the land because they want it for themselves. Oh, brother, they are ruining the land. No, they're definitely ruining the fucking land. They don't give a shit. They've done it before. They don't care about that. So more like a Trail of Tears. Yes. Armenian genocide, Trail of Tears, like